All right. Thank you so much, Krista. Hello, everybody. All right, so this class is going to be recorded. So if you have, something that will confuse you in the middle or during the class or something that you want to review, you can always go back in and then watch this on Michael's YouTube. Like what Krista said, I am here on behalf of Faber-Castell and would like to say hello to everybody. My name is Leigh Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Leigh on the internet. So we have California here. It's nice to see where everybody is from. Oh, California as well. Hi, Michelle. Hello, everyone. Today's going to be very relaxing and also it's going to be super fun because spring is here. Allergy season is here. Hello, Alabama, Baltimore, Colorado, Missouri. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh, snowy Colorado. So we're going to be doing some spring doodles and we're going to create a simple, very easy bookmark. And we're going to be using Faber-Castell Polychromos colored pencils. I really love this colored pencils. We'll talk about the products in the beginning and then we'll go ahead and start playing. If you have any type of colored pencils there with you, I hope that you have some markers, eraser. If you'd like to use some pencil at first, and your marker pad or journal and anything like that, get that ready and we'll start playing along. So we'll switch over to the overhead and we are going to start.
I'm sorry, I think we actually lost the overhead.
We did.
Yeah.
All right. So this always happens. And if this happens, be patient with us. We are going to fix that. Here we go. Oh, that was disconnected. Here we go. So I see from Texas. Hello there. We have everybody from all over the states. Do we have anyone from Sacramento? I have family in there in the Bay Area, Manchester. Here we go. All right. Oh, California again. Okay. All right. So we'll switch over to the overhead. New York, New York. Hello.
I think your video is still not activated on the overhead.
That's me. I'm like, my brain is not working right now. Here we go. Is it working? North Carolina. Oh, it's so beautiful there. Indiana is on here. Colorado too, Maryland. Hello, everyone. Here we go. I am here in Northwest Arkansas. So Kentucky, Wisconsin. All right. Hello, everyone. So get your markers, get your journals, papers ready. I also have my tools today that I'm going to be using to create our bookmark. I have some cardstock, but before we proceed to creating our bookmark, we're going to learn about doodling first. All right, so I will be using Faber-Castell products today. I have here the PITT Artist Pen. All right, I have a couple of them in different sizes. PITT Artist comes in many different sizes actually, and I'm going to be zooming in just so we can look at the products real well. Okay, so I have a couple in here. I have extra small, I have the fine, and I also have the medium. Okay, and looks like some people are still trying to come in. So we're going to try and go slow a little bit so everyone can follow along with us. All right, so what I love about the Faber-Castell PITT Artist is that it comes in with many different kits. I love the brush pens when it comes to lettering. Also love the soft brush. This time, I wanted to have a mono line, which is a consistent line. So I have the medium, the fine, and the extra small. So we'll just try and do a little bit of lines so you guys can see the variety of lines that we can create. So that's the medium. Then the fine. And then we'll have the extra small. I do have the small also, but I chose the extra small. I love using the extra small just for adding details and all that. So that's good. And today we'll be working with the Faber-Castell Polychromos colored pencils. These are oil-based colored pencils. These are artist grade. So Faber-Castell is really been around forever, 200 something years. So that should tell you something. These are great quality. If you've never tried this before, I really highly suggest you try this. If you love doing adult coloring and all that, I think you will fall in love with the Polychromos pencils. These are oil based. So, and these are also, Faber-Castell has this star system that will tell you the rating of the pigments in here if it's light fast. Light fast in the artist world means how that pigment will resist the sunlight. That means how long will the colors remain vibrant and pigmented. And so if you will see here, there's 1 to 3 stars. It's a little bit hard to see because of the glare, but the 3 is very, very light fast. And then 2 will be light fast. And then 1 is, how's that, Krista? So 1 is, I know I have the note, but I can't think right now. So 1 is light fast, very light fast, and extremely light fast. Is that how it is, the star system?
So the star system tells us in years, and totally catching me on the
You know, me too.
I think that the 3+ is going to be in excess of 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Light fastness. Okay, that's pretty amazing. So those are really good. And if you're an artist and you sell your artwork, so that's always a good thing. And even your journals and sketchbooks, you want it to last, you know, so you have something to look back into after so many years and say, oh, look at me, look how far I've come, or just seeing your old drawings and all that. That's always fun. Okay, so when I trying to teach a class when it comes to doodling or lettering, I always love to talk about the basic, because as adults, and I am guilty of this, we try to overthink things sometimes, you know, but the reality is that what we need to do is to simplify things again, because what happens is that when we overthink, we get overwhelmed. We look at the whole picture and we don't look at it as, you know, one shape after the other or one stroke after the other. So before we proceed to actual learning how to draw some cute kawaii doodles for spring, I'd like to just talk about real quick about some of the basic shapes that you want to practice at home before you get started with your doodles and drawings. So some of them are just simple circular shape. Yes, a 1.5 will work too. I love the 1.5 as well because that is the bullet tip and it makes really bold strokes. Okay, so some of the practice shapes or strokes that you want to get yourself familiar with, and it's really a good practice to start kind of like working out your fingers and your hand for your coordination, for your hand coordination and your brain. Sometimes because our brain tells us something and then our hand does want to, you know, another thing. So try to practice with these simple basic strokes that I'm going to do. So try to do circular. And when you're doing circles, try to make it like big, try to make it like an oblong shape, make it stretched a little bit. So you can just um, practice with these basic shapes like this, small, medium size, you know, really large one, because it's hard to get perfect circles. And sometimes without a ruler or like that, you will never get a perfect circle. It's almost impossible. But I think the more you practice and the more you have this muscle memory, you just kind of know. And if I don't practice, look how where I started. Look at the circle where I started. And see what this exercise does to you is it's kind of like giving you this control. Your hand builds control of your strokes. You get more better lines, better sizes. Look how much better my circles are now the more you practice them. but still they're never going to be a perfect circle. Okay, so you practice with your triangles too. They're kind of like pointy triangles, stretched. Try to do it one line after the other, and also try to do one shape without lifting your pen from the page. This is a really good exercise too. So try it with one stroke after the other, and then try your triangle or whatever shape you're doing without lifting your pen off the page. Right? So another stroke, of course, is lines to practice are just basically lines, vertical, horizontal. Try to make them in small dashes. I try to really do this before I get started with any artwork that I do, whether it's for personal work or it's going to be project for a client. I really try and just kind of like exercise my hands first to get my strokes ready. Another shape that you want to get, started practicing is just kind of like a letter U, an upside down. Later, you're going to see that our drawings are just composed of these basic strokes. And so you can try to connect them now. And basically, you're going to make like scallops. Yeah. And then you can try what I did here. You can practice with some wiggly lines without lifting your pen off the page. Try to play around with the shape of the wiggly. You can like tight, or it could be loose, like a wave. All right. So those are good one. Please excuse me. I have terrible allergies today. If you are with me, let me know. These allergies are really driving me crazy. So those are some of the basic strokes that you want to practice. Now, when we talk about kawaii, I love drawing kawaii doodles. I am not someone who does realistic art. I mean, I have tried and I will keep trying as long as I can, but it's really not my forte. But I love kawaii doodles simply because it is simple, it is super cute. Kawaii means cute in Japan. It's snowing outside, Patty said. So today we're going to be doing some kawaii doodles, and we're going to do a spring themed items. Okay. So really, when you're doing a doodle, it's more a free flow kind of art. But it is up to you. There's no rules about it. You can use a pencil first, and if you're not sure of what you're doing yet, but if you just want to go dive in and just kind of start playing around with the basic strokes that we kind of practiced earlier, that's okay too. So just have a free flow kind of art, and that's what doodle is all about. So let's just learn some basic drawings. And this is where you're going to understand that you're over analyzing things. It's really something. It's like every time I do this, in person in class, and like people are saying, "Oh, that's how you just draw that?" I mean, it's that simple. I didn't know. Yeah, because as adults, we over analyze things. Like you look at a floral and you're like, no, I can't draw that. Yeah, but if you're just drawing a kawaii doodle, it's really, really simple. So let's just draw some basic ones, like a heart. This is also a really good one to practice. To be honest with you, when I was first starting learning and practicing to draw, I would always get so upset and I would tell my husband, I can't even draw a nice heart. But now it's like it's something that I try to play around. Hearts, you can make them really tight and skinny. You know, you can make them really round and cute, which is my favorite style. I think I like them rounder. You play around with them in different shapes. Make a small one. When you're trying to practice some of these doodles that we're going to do, you can practice one simple doodle and fill the whole page with that. And basically, you're creating a pattern, and it's just super, super duper cute. All right, so that's her heart. And to make them kawaii, I always put my faces in there. It just makes it super cute. If you follow me on Instagram, you're going to see my drawings that always have these kawaii faces in there. Okay, so now let's draw still a heart. Look at this. We're going to do something. We're going to draw a heart. And then we're going to turn this heart into a balloon. It's pretty cute. I'm going to do this. Remember the triangle that we practiced earlier? Basically, you're just adding that. And I'm just adding that. Those line at the bottom. And then now you do your wiggly line. You have a balloon heart. Now let's try that shape. Circle. You add your little triangle, kind of like a stretch triangle. You may add a smile. And look, then add your wiggly lines. And then you have these cute hearts. And then you add the faces like they're looking at each other. And then you have that heart on top. That's super cute. All right. Okay. So another one, cloud. Look at how I would draw a cloud. Remember that kind of like U stroke that we practiced that way? See how the clouds are drawn. It's like that one stroke after the other. And what you want to do is sometimes you want to make it stretched a little bigger, have one that's smaller. And you do this. So just take it one stroke at a time. And then that one. Now you have a cloud. And you add your cute face in there. See, that's the same stroke again for the eyes. I'm going to do the same, repeat the same thing for the cute mouth. Now to make this cuter, if you want to add like April showers, you can just add some raindrop. How cute is that? Super cute. All right, so let's practice some flowers. So I have read somewhere in a book, it's like a kawaii book, that in kawaii, when you're drawing a flower, the petals are usually limited to 4 up to 5 petals to make it really cute. So see that? And then you can just add your details if you want to add lines, curvy lines like that. Another curvy line. Look at that, another curvy line too. And then you just knead them in the middle. And then you're creating a leaf. Now I had that. All right, so I hope by now you realize that really everything in here is just very simple strokes and shapes and lines. And this is basically what we're going to do today. And you'll be amazed by the end of the workshop of this class, you'll be like, I can draw. I mean, it's not perfect, you know, but you've learned something that you can practice along the way. Have this kind of like having a foundation. And once you understand that it's just basic shapes, when you look at a drawing or when you look at an object and you see, oh, I can simplify that, you know, and so let's do that. So if you want to do a mushroom, remember that stroke, right? This stroke. Now we're going to make an upside down U, but we're going to stretch it. So instead of just like this, you can do that too. You can make it like really tight in the middle and like that. There we go. So let's try it again. You can, and it's really, it's going to be up to you. Let your imagination run wild when you're drawing. You don't have to copy it exactly as I would do it, but you will get the idea how this drawing or how this object is going to be composed. So basically we have that upside down U, and we're going to do a curved line like that. And then this time, remember when we did this, we're going to do kind of like repeat the same thing. It's just a curved line. And then from the middle part of the mushroom again, we're going to go do the same curved line, but the opposite way. Like, and then we'll just close it in. And then over here at the bottom, we're going to add. So if you want to do that all in like this, it's just like a big smile. See? So you can do it that first if you want, and then add your curved lines. Either way, it will work. So, and this is where the having different tips of markers will really help, because if you want to add details inside your doodles, it's always nice to have a much smaller tip to do that. I really love working with different types of shapes and sizes, I mean, of markers. So you can add those over there. You can add in irregular shapes inside the mushroom. It doesn't have to be circular, something like that. Or you can close it in and create your own pattern inside the mushroom. It doesn't have to look like a mushroom because this is your drawing and I say, I see my mushroom in stripes. You do that. No one will stop you. Right? Okay, so those are really perfect example. Mushroom, super simple. Now, what else can we do? Let's do another floral. But this time, let us put our drawing or our florals inside a water can. But this time, kind of like a stretched smile again. Let's start with that one stroke. And then we're just going to bring this down. Slanted line like that. And then close it in. Like that. And this time we're going to create a letter C. And then another C and smaller one. Like that. And then we're going to add this line. And another one there. And you just want to close that in. How's that? All right, so inside, you want to start adding your cute patterns in there if you'd like. Let me draw a sun inside. So that was just a circle shape, and now I'm adding some small lines to add the sun rays. And then we're going to add a cute face. There we go. And then now we'll start adding our flower. I'm just adding some irregular, or I mean slanted lines here. Okay, I have 4 in there. Now I'm going to do it in a bigger so you can see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, but in smaller. 1, 2. Be mindful of how big your strokes are going to be, because you want to make sure that it's not so big that it's going to look not although it's a kawaii style. I mean, you can always do whatever you like, but you still want it looking like balanced. Everything is like in symmetry, right? So we're going to do it over here too. So I'm being mindful of how little and tiny my strokes are going to be, because I know it's like a heart, but this one, it has like 3 things in the middle. So 1, and then we're creating like 3 mini scallops over there on top, over there. And then we're going to repeat the same process, but this time it's going to be slightly bigger. So 1, 2, 3, right? I'm going to repeat the same process. 1, 2. If you have to stretch the middle scallop that you're doing, sometimes that's what I do. It's like that's where I can't really read the chat there. Okay, here we go. Completely solid lines with this pens. All right, that's a good question. See, if you use it on an angle like this, it depends on the marker that you're using. I think I'm having that trouble with the medium. So if you're having that issue, you want to make sure that you use the point so that the ink will really flow in like that. So don't use it in a slanted way, because you're going to have like irregular lines like what you're saying. So you want to make sure that when you're having this issue, you want to make sure that you have your pen pointed down and use the tip of your marker. So 1, right? 2, and then 3. And then you just stretch this one if, like that. So again, 1, and I'm using the tip of the marker. 2, and then 3. And this is why I love using the mono sizes and not the brush. But I really do love, in my personal style, I love using the brush because it gives me a different stroke each time I'm using it. All right, so I'm going to finish our florals here. 1, 2, 3. This is the F, or the fine. 1, 2, 3. All right. So if you see that you have more spaces over here and you want to fill those up, you just want to start adding your leaves. So basically it's like a teardrop. Remember we made the teardrop earlier? So I'm just creating a teardrop shape for my leaves like that. Repeat the same process. Another teardrop. Simple, basic shapes. And this is why I love drawing kawaii. Super simple. And then here, I'm just going to add more leaves here just to fill the space right there. All right. And then if you would like, you can start adding some patterns inside your flower. So here I'm using the extra small. I'm just adding 3 lines. I'm just connecting them. 2, and then 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. So those are just samples of some florals. And now we're going to decide what we want in our bookmark. So here I have an example. We actually prepared a handout. If you didn't get a chance to download that, I'm not sure if it's going to still to be available, but Krista might be able to get the handout. And this is going to be in that worksheet. So you can have something, you know, that you can have a reference to look back into and practice some of the florals that we created in here. Okay, so we can create the same exact one, or we can create a different type of florals in there. But basically, these are some of the spring theme that we can use for our bookmarks today. Okay, so what I have here is I'm going to bring out some of my tools, and I just have a regular cardstock. You can use a white cardstock. It's going to be up to you. I have some colored cardstocks in here that I'm thinking I might use. So this is just hold on 1 second. This is a A4 or a 8.5 by 11. Here we go. I'm just going to move it horizontal like this. And I'm going to cut it 3 inches wide, maybe. Maybe that's too much. Maybe just 2.5. All right. Just going to move over. So 2.5. Cut it down. Sometimes I like them long like this. Depends on the book that I have. But you can also just have it 2.5 by 6, maybe. So it's not too long. I think that's a perfect size that I like. So here we go. Perfect. I like that. Not too big, not too small, just right. All right. Here we go. And then let me just find the middle so I know where to punch our hole later. Basically, we're going to just do it like there. Okay. So I have a sample here. I have a quote, and then I have the florals and a cute bumblebee. And we're going to zoom in again so we can look at it. Okay. Here we go. So I am going to use my fine PITT artist pen, and then I have my Polychromos pencils in here. Let's talk a little about the colored pencils first before we proceed to the drawing so that we can understand this. I love using colored pencils for blending. It does take a little bit of time, you know, more than just using a marker, but it just gives me this different look. That I love very much. Okay, so what I like to do when I'm blending, if you're doing adult coloring, you're probably very familiar with this one. I love using, like, for example, if I'm going to use pink, but I will have my pink in 3 different shades. I have a light, and then I will have a medium, and then I will have a darker. Okay, so if I'm going to use an orange, I'll have the lightest one, and then I will pick up a medium color, and then I will get another darker shade of orange. All right, so if you pick up some of the colors that you're going to use today, that would be great. So you can have it close to you, ready when we're ready to color. And then I'll pick up some of the green as well. So I'll have a light color, I'll have a medium one, and then I'll have a darker green. I might actually use a much darker green than that, just for my blending. All right. Okay, so colored pencils. Let's talk about a little bit how we can blend them. You can blend them directly with my favorite way, which is blending 3 colors, or you can also get some Gamsol to blend your colors in. It's not particularly my favorite way of blending just because I don't want to go through the hassle of that, but sometimes there's a artwork that calls in for the Gamsol, and maybe we should try and just do a little bit of that so you guys can see the difference of what it's going to look like. All right, let's just practice here. So let's try with the yellow. Right. So what I like to do is I like to lay down a very light wash, or very light. I mean, we're talking about light pressure here. And notice the way I am holding my pencil. I'm not holding it this way. I am not coloring it this way. I am tilting my pencil like this so that I can use the tip and also majority the body of my colored pencil. And I'm really applying very light pressure in here. So just light pressure, all right? And then I'm going to grab a medium. Oh, we're very close. We use this orange one. Actually, this is much better. So grab the medium shade, and then I'm going to start basically in the middle because we want to create a gradient here. So again, very light pressure, and be mindful of how you're holding your pencil. So don't use the tip because I don't want to have any harsh strokes in here. Basically, I just want to apply the color. All right. This time I am taking the darkest color of the three. And again, just very, very, very light pressure. Let me see. Is that better? Can you guys see the color much better? Okay, there we go. Okay, so this time, let me hold this one so you guys can see what I'm picking up. Again, I'm gonna go to the lightest one, and I'm gonna repeat the same process by applying just light pressure again. I'm gonna go through the whole thing and kind of go over where the colors meet. I'm just gonna spend a little time in there and just blend the colors in there. Not too much. Go over here where the darkest and the medium meets as well. And so I'll just spend a little time in there and just apply a little bit more color. And then go over here. And then you can actually see how they're blending even with just two strokes. And these colored pencils really blend so beautifully. I am just impressed and so pigmented. It's really, I'm gonna go through closer so you guys can see. Here we go. Look at how that's really blending, and that's flawlessly. I'm not working hard in there. So I'm gonna go back in with my medium color. Patty, with this is an oil-based colored pencil, so this is going to resist water. But if you're using if you're using the colored pencils, the Albert Durer, those are going to blend in with water. Those are pretty awesome. Our last workshop, we worked with those, and also the gold Faber pencils. Those are also blendable with water. So this one is an oil base, so this is not going to blend with water. This is the medium color now. So I'm just going to spend a little time where those two colors meet. Not so much. All right, then go back in here. I've never tried with the Crayola pencil. Um, you might be able to. I mean, it's just going to depend, but the problem with wax-based colored pencils, yes, they are creamy, but the tendency of the cheaper ones is that sometimes the wax buildup um, is going to stop you from blending because after a while, after layering down colors after colors, the wax will build up and that will prevent the colors and the pigments to blend together. That's why it's if you would like to invest in a really good artist grade colored pencils, you're going to see that it's really day and night. It's like the way they apply and the way they blend. So it's really, really amazing, this color pencil. Then now I'm just going with the white, the lightest again, and just kind of apply more colors. But look at all the gradients that we created in here. That's right, Patricia. Really good materials are everything when where you're not going to get frustrated because you're going to enjoy what you're doing, and that's one thing that I've learned along the way is that it really has value to just invest a little bit more money in the quality because you're going to get what you paid for. So I'm going to come back in with the darkest just to add a little bit more pigment in here so we can really see the difference from that. Look at that. Pretty cool. Now I'm going to show you what's going to happen if you use the Gamsol. Okay, here we go. So you can use a stub like this. And I'm just going to dip right in. If you have Kindles or anywhere like that close to you, be careful when you're working with the Gamsol because this is flammable. So I'm just going from the lightest to the medium. And what this does is that it really blends those pigments. It moves the pigments so you can blend them really well. And I'm just going to go back right in. Wow. Let's go close so you guys can see. Wow. So that's one way to blend. So another one is what we did earlier. And this is another way is using a Gamsol or a solvent. It's called a solvent also. So what it does is it takes out those strokes from the pencil. There we go. Beautiful blending, right? So another way is that you can also use the white colored pencil if you like. So we can try that so you guys can just see. I'm just going to apply yellow and then the medium color. But really, to me, these colored pencils blend so well that I really don't need that Gamsol. It's just really being mindful of, the light wash first. That's the most important thing, is using very light pressure to apply your first base of color. So don't be in a hurry to really lay down your colors first. Be patient and really apply a light wash and then apply your second layer of colors. And it's just so beautiful the way they layer and blend together. So this is another technique using the white colored pencils. So you can blend the colors together as well like this. You can also use a colorless blender if you have those. But to me, this white is pretty amazing. Oh man, look at that. That's super pretty. Super pretty. I love it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now that we have talked about how to blend our colors, now it's going to be the fun part. We're going to start doodling and coloring. Here we go. All right. I'm going to use my fine. Here. Can you guys see? All right, here we go. So if we are going to follow along this sample, we're going to create our florals. Let me just show you guys how to do the flowers first before you draw directly into your cardstock. Okay, so basically here, what we're going to do is we're going to create the base of the floral first. Remember that 3 scallops that we did, but this time our lines are much looser. So they're not so tight like what we did earlier. What we did earlier is tight like this. But it's up to you if you like which look you like better, like that. Or with this one where you use kind of like your wavy lines. And then let the 2 meet in the middle. All right, so you decide, it's up to you what you want to use. And then we're going to start adding the petals. So we start with 1 first. Make sure that you dip in the middle. Yeah. We add the second petal. This. And then we add another petal like that. And then this time we're just going to add 2 petals that are peeking from the back, right? And there we go. So basically that's the flower. Let's try that again. So we can practice before we put it in our cardstock. So I'm just adding my wavy line. And then here, I'm going to just do that. Add my first petal. Adding my second petal. Adding my third. And adding 2. Like that. Okay. So for the leaves, what I did here is, so you add your stalk. And you kind of like have that base of the leaves. That. Or you can stretch your leaves out so they have longer shape. So this is going to be up to you. I'm just showing you some variety so you can make a choice what kind you want. So play around with your leaves. And this will also give a visual, added visual to it, also by having them not so where it's not the same at all times, because the way the nature, when you look at flowers, I mean, yes, they are leaves. The way you look at them, they're going to be, it looks like leaves, but having them in different shapes and sizes, if it's one is smaller than the other, I think it gives a little bit more visual interest that way. And then having them still symmetry, but not the same. So that's what we're going to do. Let's practice again. So I'm just going to practice before I put it on my cardstock. So I'm going to decide what kind of leaves, what kind of style exactly I want. I think I'm going to stick to this one. All right. Here we go. The moment of truth. This is a cardstock. Okay. Here we have it. I'm kind of scared. I'm going to start from the top so that I don't smudge. And that's one thing that I've learned through the years is that when I start from the bottom, when I start to draw or if I'm stamping, I always smudge everything. So you want to make sure that you stay, hold on one second, sorry about that. You start from the top of your drawing, whether you're doing it in your journal, in your sketchbooks, always start from the top so you can, not have any smudges from your markers. Although Faber-Castell dries really super fast, but just to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and then we're going to create 2 florals. One is basically facing over here, and then the other one's just here. Okay, so I'm going to start with, here we go, this one. Okay, I'm holding my- This is the fine tip. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. If you're left-handed, and basically everything is the same. The same principle is still the same, but basically you're going from the left to the right. I know it's super hard to explain. I always get this question too for lettering. It's like, what if I'm left-handed? Basically everything, all the rules or all the instructions are the same, but just the opposite way. And always, always remember this when you're trying to draw something, find what is the most comfortable to you if you're coming from left to right, because I'm right-handed. So if you're left-handed, I would think that it would be much better for you to do from right to the left. So if you're doing the florals like this, you're going from right to the left, right? Obviously, I am not left-handed and it does not look that very good. No, that's why I always find what is the most comfortable to you, because we're all different. Some people will find it from top to bottom, much more natural to them than to me, from top to bottom is more natural than from the bottom to the top. Come on, Lay, find your words. So find out which is the most comfortable. And the more you practice, the more you do this, you'll really find that happy place. So for me, from left to right feels most comfortable, and from the top to the bottom. Okay, so I'm going from my left again. So if you're left-handed, you want to start from your right here, then do your flowers this way. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to add our 3 first petal. 1, 2, second petal, 2, and then the third one right there. And then we're going to do it, the 2 ones that's peeking over there. Here we go. And then we'll go talk about that light source in a little bit when we start coloring. All right. Here in my drawing, something that I'm not happy about is my shape of the base of my flower. I feel like it's a little too stretched out, vertically wise. So I want it to be more horizontal and not so stretched out like this. So we want it to be much wider and a little bit smaller. So we're going to do it from this type of flower. So we're going to do from the left again for me. And I will be intentional that I don't go way up high so it's not stretched vertical. Okay, I'll stop there and I'll just make those 2 lines meet. All right, I feel like that's much better. All right, so we add our petal in here. 1. Try not to overthink your petals. As long as it looks like it's facing this way, then you're good. And then I'll try to add it this way. Okay. I feel like I want to add 1 more petal over here. And sometimes you have to do that. Just look at your drawing, analyze it, and feel like, okay, what can I add here to make it look more cohesive or make it look more symmetry balanced, right? I don't know why, but I feel like I'm still stretched out vertically. I'm going to try harder. All right, but let me put down the stalk of my flower. So this time we're going to do a free flow wavy line. So you want to make sure, kind of like what we did with the balloon, but the balloon is a little too tight. So this time is more loose. I'm going to go over here. Right? Clean that up a little bit. And then from here, go over here. Like, all right, pretty happy with that one. Okay, so then we'll make our big flower over here. Okay, I'm going to try and really be intentional with my base. Okay, there we go. I am very happy with this one. Now it's stretched horizontally. Okay, I'll start adding in my petals. Okay, 1. And I'm going to go work a little faster so we don't run out of time. Okay, 3. Add my petals. 2. All right, that's good. So add that stalk. Okay, here we go. That's looking good. I'll add 2 more in here. Now I started with the stalk, and then I'll add the base, 2 and 3. The practice really makes better. Look at my base. I am much happier with that one than the other one I created earlier. All right, I'm going to add my petal, third. Here we go. Okay, I feel like I'm going to stop right here just because this one is longer than this one. So I'm going to stop with the 2 first because we're going to draw our bumblebee. Now the bumblebee is really simple. You guys, don't try to overthink the bumblebee. I'm going to draw it here first in this notebook so you guys can see. Try to do a stretched first, a stretched oval. We'll practice first, like that, just like that. So a stretched oval. I'm going to try again here. All right. Once you get comfortable with that shape, that's good. You can make it cuter and add scallops like this instead of just lines. Yeah. And add its little stinger, and then add the eye like this. And then this one, you're going to draw a heart. It's stretched out a little bit. So that will look like a wing. All right. Another way that you can add the wing is like this. Like that. One. And then from where you stopped, pick it up from there, and then repeat the same shape. 2. And then instead of scallops, you can just make it like a wavy line like this. And then you can add an eye like this. Close. Right? Or another way is that you can make a tiny little wing, a heart shape, like that. That will work also. And make sure that you have your little tiny stinger over there. And then this time, you're going to create a curved line like that. And the little tiny heart like this. So you can put the wing over here, but still a tiny heart like that. So play around with it. See which one is your favorite look. It's going to be up to you, but those are just some ways that we can draw our bumblebee. All right. Okay. Ooh, bumblebee, hello. I'm scared. I think I'm gonna start with pencil here. I'm gonna start with a pencil for the bumblebee just so I can get a better shape. And this time I'm going to make this right side pointy. Right. I think that's okay. Okay. And then I'm going to make my wing like that. I'm going to make scallops. There we go. So there is nothing wrong with sketching out first. Now that I have that, I'm going to use my eraser. I love this eraser. It's kind of counterproductive because what you put in there, you're going to erase it. But just erase it to a point where you can still see the shadow where it left it, because I know you guys can't see it, but it's still here. I can still see where I left it. I know it's a little counterproductive, but it's okay. Here we go. So now I'm going to get my marker, the time of truth. And I always use this. I have my sketch perfect. And then when I try to do my line art, I always mess up. Okay, crossing my fingers. I'm going to start from the right side this time. So I feel comfortable doing this way instead of this way. So where my point ended here, I'm going to start where that pointy part ended. And I'm just going to bring it in here and not breathe. We did
Right.
it.
What was the eraser that you just used?
This is the one that we kneadable eraser.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that one. I love using the kneadable eraser. I really do. Okay, we have that one. Now we're gonna do the wings. All right, one wing, second wing. Here we go. We're gonna add the little scallop. Okay. Ooh, this is like an ab workout when you're not breathing, when you're holding your breath. Huh. Yep. One, two, three. I'm not happy with that. It's okay. Okay. Now we have that. What you can do, a bee is always cuter with its trail. So remember that dashed line we practiced earlier? So I feel like now we have to add a flower in here because this is where our bee came from. I'm just going to add another flower stretch. One, two, three. All right. And then one, two, one petal, second petal, third petal. Here we go. All right, guys, how's yours looking? Now we're going to add our leaves. Okay, let's add our leaves. Here we go. I must confess, I am not the best when it comes to drawing the leaves. I feel like I try to make it so similar and so the same, and it's just not looking right to me. I don't know, but maybe it's just me. We're always our worst critic. So I'm just going to keep adding some leaves. I'm going to try not to overthink, but I'm still overthinking. Who am I kidding? Okay. You know what I mean? See what I mean? It's just, I don't know. We're just going to work with it. Add another one over here. Add one over there. That's okay. It's okay. Just keep going, guys. All right. One over here. One. I'm trying to work a little faster so we don't run out of time. Here we go. All right. Okay. Just have one here. All right. Oh, okay, we did it. And I think I'm going to, just because this one is, looking so not balanced, I'm gonna just add some leaves in here. Just so we can fill that space right there. All right. Huh. Okay. Now it's time to color. So I've read someone talking about coloring and the blending and then where the light source is coming from. So let us pretend that our sun is coming from the top. All right. So at first, when I was first practicing and learning about blending and all that jazz, I was struggling with light source and where do I put my shadows? where is my darker area and all that. But then I've learned, you know, try to practice with different light source coming from different places. And that's really a good practice. And this time we're going to have our light source from the top. And so essentially what it does is that everything that's on top here is going to be lighter. And in the bottom, we're going to have the darker areas of our coloring. Oh, Kathleen, thank you so much. No, I mean, really, I was just using the same pen. Carla, I was using the fine, but maybe I was just applying a little bit more pressure. So maybe it just looks a little bit more bolder. Okay, all right. So again, light source from the top, and then everything from a drawing, the bottom side of it. So this one is easy. There's no confusion here. We're gonna get this. All right, I'm going to apply my yellow first. I'll have 2 yellows and then I have 2 pink flowers, okay? Here we go. Again, remember light wash, make sure it's just, you don't have to apply too much pressure in there. Light wash first. All right, so I'll have those yellow, and then I'll have the middle one here, yellow too. Thank you, Ari. Okay, here we go. These colored pencils, guys, you don't really have to apply so much pressure because the colors are so pigmented. All right, here we go. Then I will get my light. Maybe I should do purple because I'm using a pink cardstock. I think. Okay, let's see. Oh, also another tip, make sure when you're working with your colored pencils, please sharpen them before you use them so you don't get frustrated. So I feel like I want to use some purple in here. But here. All right. So light wash, earth base, stay inside the lines. Here we go. This one, actually, these are beads. These are those beads that you make bracelets in the rainbow loom. My daughter Rain, she's 9 years old, and she's seen something online where you flatten them out with a flat iron. And so she made me this ring. So it's super cute. Okay, laying down my base color. Here we go. Okay, it looks like there's nothing in there, but trust me, I've laid down some colors in there. So I guess I have 2 yellows and then 3 purple. I am so great at math. Not true. Here we go. So we have that. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so I am going to get a medium shade of purple. So we're going to try and use this one. That's the one that I want. Yeah, so we'll use this middle shade. And then this time, so we're going to create now shadows and the dark areas in our flower. So again, the light source is coming from top. So you want to make sure that here, this bottom side over here. So I'm going to draw a line just so you can see lightly because I don't want to leave a stroke in there so much. Here. I'm just going to start coloring so you guys can see. Again, my colored pencil is still tilted this way. I'm holding it in the middle. I know we all hold our pens differently. Some hold it this way, you know, some people hold it this way. I control it with my middle, my pointer, and my thumb. But this is when I want details and I want really have a really strong control over my pen. But when I want just medium control, so I don't put so much pressure, I tend to hold my pencil, my markers, or my pen in the middle and even sometimes very top. Okay, so this time I'm just going to hold it in the middle of my pencil this way. So I don't put too much pressure. And again, it's slanted also. Here we go. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do, Kathleen. We're going to color this in, and then we're going to color one of the leaves so you guys can see how I'm going to shade that in. So just in case we run out of time, we're going to color one complete flower and then one complete leaf. So start adding in your second layer like this. And also where the petals meet, that's going to create a natural shadow over there. So be mindful of those. But these color pencils are so pigmented, so I have to be really careful of how much pressure I put in there. And so it's just making sure to get into those inside of the petal, because naturally you're going to have shadows over here too, where those petals meet, right? So make sure we add those shadows in there. Okay, so now that's not even it because this is our darkest. That was our medium shade. So now I'm going to start adding in my darkest one. And I'm just going in here where the petals are meeting, and I'm just really going to add my darkest color in there because we're going to blend that in so we don't have harsh lines. All right, go back in here. Now I can see the colors are blending already so beautifully. Like that. Go back in here again. And see how I apply the colors in my colored pencil? The way I lay them down is that I go in circular motion. So you can see my pencil in very small, tiny circular strokes like this. Because I am applying the pigments and at the same time, I'm blending those colors that are in there. So very small circular strokes. So going in there again, like that. All right. And then kind of step back and just look at it visually. Okay, so what is this missing? Right, if you have harsh lines like that, some people really like it when we can see the contrast between the light and the dark. I personally, I love it blended. I love a natural gradient. I love it when it's like really, you can't almost tell where the colors, met. So what I'm doing now to blend everything is taking the lightest shade that we first used to apply our base color and really going in here where I lay down those medium and the dark shade, and I'm going to do it in circular motion again because I'm blending all the colors in together like this. So basically what you're doing is you're picking up those pigments and you're moving them around and you're blending them. Look at how beautiful that blending is. Let me just go closer because I need to show you guys. Oh, wow. All right. So let's do that again. I'm going to, again, go in where you apply those medium and dark, and then circular motion. It's from light to medium pressure. Light to medium, you're going to move those pigments around and then blend the colors in. Super beautiful. You can create a card like this also, not a bookmark. You can create a card. Mother's Day is coming. How special is that? And then I'm going here again and then move all those colors in. Blend, 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 blend. Kind of like when putting makeup, you don't leave it when there's like harsh lines in there. You just want to keep blending, blending. Oh, this is so pretty. Guys, look at what we created. We created something so beautiful. It's handmade. You can create cards. You can create bookmarks. You can add this to your sketchbook, to your journals, and like that. I'm going to go in again so you guys can see how beautiful the blending is. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That is super duper pretty. All right, so let's do the base of this one, and then we're going to do the leaves. Again, we'll start with a light, medium, and then your dark. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my light first, and then I'm just going to apply my base color. Light pressure. Okay, so with this one, with our light source coming from the top, obviously this part right here will be dark, and also over here where the petals are meeting the base of this flower. All right, so that's the lightest. I'm going to go back in with the medium and then start building my colors in. So circular motion again. And when you're doing a small circular motion like this, you're also preventing to have, a very distinct strokes. Unless you want to do that intentionally, you want to have strokes in there, which I'm going to show you also later to add to the floral. But right now we're going to do this. All right. And I'm going to add, oh, no, I forgot to add here. Because this is what's going to create that visual interest in your coloring. It's not going to be flat. It's going to make it look 3D, like live. So I'm going in now with my dark. I'm just going to apply my dark color in here. Here. Here we go. Then apply my dark. I think really with art, patience is the key. Whatever medium you're using, it's like you have to really just one stroke at a time, one step at a time. And that's what's going to change it so much. Because when you're in a hurry, sometimes the results is not the same. And that is coming from an experience. But sometimes I tend to be impatient and I just want to see it done. And yeah, the results is not the same. And guys, what you can do also is when you're doing mixed media, what you want to do is lay down your base color in your light wash. You can use some watercolors for your light wash, just so you can cover a much larger drawing. And that's what I do. When I have a much larger artwork, I try to color it in with a watercolor in first. And then I go back in with my colored pencils just so I can add the details. And look at that. Basically, that's what we have. And then I know we're almost running out of time. So what we want to do here is just to quickly add some details with our flower here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add line. And this time, look how I'm holding my colored pencil. I'm really here, close to the tip of the pencil, because this time I want control, because I want strokes. And so I want better control of my pencil. Here we go. Repeating the same process, going over here, there. I love adding details like this with my colored pencils. And then if you're going to add these lines, make sure that over here, the outer petals, you want to make sure that they all kind of meet in the middle. And I will zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. And I want to repeat that process here as well. So I'm going to go coming from the top, and I'm just bringing in down those lines. All the lines will rest in the middle part of my drawing, like that. All right, and then once you color everything in, you can use your hole puncher, punch it, and if you have yarn, if you have ribbons, depends on what you want to use, then you can just add it there. Or if it's a card, you can laminate this first before you punch hole it so you can really preserve your coloring in here. But that's pretty much it. You finish coloring, we've learned doodles, we've learned, some blending, some great tips and techniques when it comes to blending your colored pencils. Again, guys, I really highly suggest Faber-Castell Polychromos because you are going to love it. You're going to really love it. But the bees, it's still the same process. I know we've run out of time, but same thing, you want to use your light color, you want to use your medium, and then have a darker shade to start adding in your shadows and your depths. But thank you all so much, everybody, for joining in. I hope that you all had fun because I really, really had fun with all of you. And thank you, Krista. Thank you, Faber-Castell. Thank you so much, Michaels, for providing us with classes like this to keep us, creative, especially days like this. And I wish you all well. Stay blessed, everybody. Please, please stay healthy. And I hope to see you in the next class. Thank you all. Bye.